So welcome back to another Nintendo Direct, and it seems like a long time since Nintendo has announced some new games. It feels like a long time, I don't know. So it was a Nintendo Direct today. I'm like, finally we get to see something new. And then last night I was reading some reports and they were false, a lot of them, saying all the games that they were going to show today, and most of those were untrue. But there was a few surprises and there was a few disappointments, like every Nintendo Direct. But I gotta say, it was one of the better Nintendo Directs in a long time. A game I've been on the fence about is Star Fox, the game that's coming out, it's not coming out, it's coming out, it's not coming out. I looked at it today and I was like, okay, I gotta get that when it comes out. It looks really good, it looks really fun. And one thing they showed today was branching paths. And you can take different paths and complete the game. And then there was a 2-player mode, and I was like, this feels like the good old Star Fox that I like, and it finally is on the radar, and it's coming out not too long away, a month away. So I was like, shit, this is something that I want to get, and I'm totally into Star Fox now, and as long as I can play with a regular controller, I'm like super happy, and it looks like there's ways to do that as well. But honestly, that's a game that's been coming out, not coming out, and I'm interested in now. And another game is Tokyo Mirage Sessions. And it looks interesting. It's a JRPG. I can't remember if I've seen it before, but they're toting it as a, as a JRPG with like idle singers, and I really don't know if that's my type of game. But I'm not a hater. I'm like, well, it looks kind of interesting. It has, maybe the combat's really cool. Maybe it has an interesting story, but it's unusual. It's by Atlas. So I'm not a hater on the game. I'm just going to have a wait and see attitude on that game for sure. Another interesting game, Lost Reavers by Bandai Namco. Now, I have seen this game before, but I must admit I was watching the footage and I'm like, oh fuck, this is a must-get game. Without a doubt, and it kind of reminds me of like Japanese games of the past, and these are the kinds of games that I'm always hoping to get, and they're delivering on this one. It's like a run and gun Tomb Raider style game that you can play co-op with a friend, and I was like, this looks fucking awesome. Like you're shooting like mummies in this tomb and shit, and zombies, or it just looked great. The characters, if I could say the characters looked like anything, like something like out of Parasite Eve. What a strange comparison, but the characters really reminded me of that, and that's a game that is on the radar. That was one that I was the most excited about. One of the most excited about games. And that wasn't until I saw Paper Mario Color Splash. I was like, we're getting another Paper Mario game? Fuck yes. And I've always liked the Paper Mario series. It's kind of funny on the show, I've never talked about it. One of my favorite ones was on the GameCube, years ago, and I loved that game with the kind of RPG combat, stuff like that. But what they showed today looked like a lot of fun, and they didn't show a lot of it, so I can't really make any judgment calls on it, but it's on the radar. Now, they showed a little bit more of Pokken Tournament, and I'll admit something, it's never been a game that's been on, on my horizons per se, but a lot of my friends are excited about it, and I decided to kind of look at it a little bit differently today, and I was like, this looks like a fun fighting game. This actually might be fun. The reason why I play video games. So I'm like, I'll wait and see with this game as well. I'm definitely not a hater on it. It looks interesting. It looks like it can be fun. Now, this was an interesting one. Super Nintendo games coming to your 3DS. Games like Earthbound and Link to the Past, and it's kind of strange. I haven't checked lately. I'm like, oh, this wasn't a feature already? So they announced it, and I'm like, well, no, I don't have Earthbound on my 3DS. I've never even looked into getting that. I'm like, it doesn't exist. I'm like, oh, this is a new feature that we can get Super Nintendo games on the 3DS. So obviously, I'll be picking up a few of those. I gotta have Earthbound. I have to have Earthbound on the 3DS, and it's just a must-have type of game. So the one theme that I started to notice a lot of was DLC, and we're not getting sometimes a lot of new games from Nintendo, but we're certainly getting a lot of DLC for the new Fire Emblem games. They're offering DLC for that. Hyrule Warriors, they're offering DLC for that. They're really focused on releasing a game and trailing it off with DLC, and I guess that's a new strategy as well. It must work because people are buying it, or they wouldn't keep offering it. And So that was a big thing in the middle. I started to notice a lot. I'm like, man, there's a lot of DLC types of stuff. And, you know, for me, sometimes I'm like, I'm just happy to finish a game. It's like, there's all this extra DLC and we'll extend the game like twice as big, you know, for another $20, you know, and then another $10 and $2 for this map and whatever. So I was just like, okay, that's a strategy as well. It must work. It was nice to see some 3DS screens of the new Dragon Quest game. It's not new to Japan, it's new to us, but the new localization on Dragon Quest VII. They're saying it's coming out in 2016, later 2016. I just was like, oh, it looks so nice. So, Metroid Prime Federation Force, the game we were all waiting for an update on. Not really, not at all. But you know what, I always try to stay a little positive. I'm like, no, let's have a see. Let's see what they have to show. And I'm like, yeah, and you know, I think what it is, why the game rubs me the wrong way, and a lot of people the wrong way, is that we want a new Metroid Prime game. We want a modern one on the Wii U, a 3D one, you know, running on next generation hardware. It's just like, oh, we're just getting this kind of game, and I think this game would have come out better if they had released an actual, Metroid Prime game, a next one in the series on console. So, yeah, I wasn't impressed. That game is not on my horizon. It's just not an interest of mine. I'm not going to actively get onto forums and actively hate it, but it's not my type of thing. It's like, I just look at it and go, And quite literally, that was the end of the Nintendo Direct. It just was like over, and I'm like, I was a little bummed at the end. I was like, is there no Zelda NX information? Is there no secrets that you're going to throw in at the end? There's none of that? And no, there was none of that. So I was a little bummed out with that. I was hoping for just a little bit more, information on maybe, Zelda NX. But I think they're going to do an entire unveiling of that at E3. I swear to God, they're going to do this is our NX and this is the Wii U, and the game's coming out on both systems, and geez, which is going to be better? It's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be like that. I'm not 100% sure, but I will leave you with some cool Japan news that kind of came out while this Nintendo Direct was coming out. A Super Famicom new 3DS XL. I looked at this and I was like, this is just the best design I've ever seen for a handheld, and I was jealous. I was really, really jealous that we would never get this. Doesn't this design, for Super Famicom lovers out there, doesn't that design just look incredible? Man, I was so bummed. I'm like, oh, we're not going to get this. Damn it. But that was kind of a highlight moment. It made the Nintendo Direct. The Nintendo Direct was okay. As I say, some things that were kind of cool were, I'm just looking through my notes again. Lost Reavers really had me excited. Paper Mario Color Splash, that was really cool. Super Nintendo games on the 3DS, that's great. As I say, Star Fox was, it's got me on the radar for that one. Metroid Prime Federation Force, not so much, but we'll wait for the next Nintendo Direct and hopefully get some more information, get some newer games, but I wasn't disappointed. So anyways, guys, until next time.